Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Yeah.
Now today we're diving into the world of Nigeria's young billionaires. You know the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're all over Instagram living these crazy, lavish lifestyles. But are they really as successful as they seem? Or are we looking at another hush puppy situation waiting to happen?
That's a good question.
We're going to be breaking down the patterns and red flags and really getting into the nitty-gritty of, dirty money.
Yeah, it's fascinating because, Nigeria has always had this kind of complex relationship with wealth and status, even before we were all obsessed with Instagram and influencers. Remember back in the 70s with the whole oil boom, all of a sudden you had all these overnight millionaires just flaunting their new money. It kind of created this like cultural obsession with wealth.
Yeah.
This idea that money equals power equals success.
Yeah.
So now when you see these young billionaires today throwing cash around on social media, they're really just tapping into that narrative that's already there.
That's really interesting. It's like they're playing into this like pre-existing fascination with overnight wealth.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's get down to it. What are some of the red flags that you see with these young billionaires?
Yeah.
What should we be looking out for?
Well, one of the biggest red flags is that overnight success story. They seem to amass these huge fortunes so quickly with very little explanation about how they actually made their money.
Right.
It's like they just appear out of thin air,
Yeah.
fully formed billionaires.
Yeah.
No clear path to how they got there. And that should always raise an eyebrow.
Yeah, for sure.
You contrast that with traditional entrepreneurs. They usually build their businesses over years, even decades.
Yeah.
Through hard work and dedication.
Yeah.
Their success is usually traceable. You can see their journey.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
Slow and steady wins the race.
exactly.
But with these guys, it's like, boom, instant wealth. And of course, they love to show it off on social media. Is that another red flag?
Oh, absolutely. The whole social media bravado is a huge red flag. We're talking about, excessive displays of luxury purchases, exotic vacations, expensive cars. It's this constant stream of, look at me, I've made it. But it's often just a carefully constructed image. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's all about projecting this aura of success, whether or not it's genuine.
And let's be real, social media is all about crafting a persona.
Exactly.
So why the need to go so over the top with the wealth?
Right. Like, what are they trying to compensate for?
Yeah, good point. So we've got the sudden wealth, the social media bragging. What else should we be wary of?
Another thing to watch out for is the lack of transparency around their business ventures. They might claim to be involved in real estate or tech, but when you try to find concrete information about their companies, their revenue streams, their actual business dealings, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, trust me, I'm a billionaire, but there's no real evidence to back it up.
Right, it's all very murky.
Yeah.
And that lack of transparency combined with the sudden wealth,
Right.
that should be a major red flag.
It definitely makes you wonder what they're trying to hide.
For sure. And then there are the associations. If someone is constantly hanging out with known fraudsters or people involved in shady activities, it's a pretty good indication that their own business dealings might not be completely above board.
Yeah, guilt by association. It's definitely something to keep in mind.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're seeing a pattern here. Sudden wealth, flashy social media, unclear business dealings, questionable connections. It's almost like a recipe for disaster, wouldn't you say?
It definitely raises a lot of red flags. And it's all eerily similar to a story that played out not too long ago. A story that serves as a cautionary tale for anyone tempted by the allure of quick wealth and online fame. I'm talking, of course, about Ramon Abbas, better known as Hush Puppy.
Ah, hush puppies. The billionaire Gucci master.
That's the one. He captivated Instagram with his extravagant lifestyle, but behind the facade was a criminal mastermind behind some massive cyber scams.
Hush Puppy's story is definitely a reminder that appearances can be deceiving. So for those who might not be familiar with his case, can you give us a quick rundown of how he went from Instagram icon to, convicted criminal?
Well, Hush Puppy was a master at creating this image of extreme wealth and luxury.
Yeah.
Millions of followers on Instagram were totally captivated by his designer clothes, his luxury cars, his lavish lifestyle. He was living the dream that so many people aspire to. And he made it seem so attainable.
Yeah, he was the ultimate influencer, showcasing a lifestyle that most people can only dream of.
Exactly.
But behind that facade was a much darker reality, right?
Oh, absolutely. While he was posting pictures of himself lounging by the pool in Dubai, Hushpuppi was orchestrating these complex cybercrimes, specifically business email compromise schemes, or BDC scams for short.
Wait, BEC scams. You're going to have to break that down for me.
Yeah.
What exactly are those, and how do they work?
So BEC scams are really sophisticated. Basically, imagine you get an email that looks exactly like it's from your CEO asking you to wire money to a new account. Except it's not your CEO, it's a hacker who has infiltrated the system and is impersonating them. These scammers are masters of social engineering. They do their research, they learn the communication styles of their targets, and they craft emails that are almost impossible to distinguish from the real thing.
So they're exploiting trust and familiarity to trick people into sending them money? That's scary.
It is. And Hushpuppi was a key player in these schemes. He used his social media platform to launder money. He was flaunting his wealth to create a sense of legitimacy. He even used his followers to recruit money mules, people who would unknowingly help him move stolen funds.
Wow. So he wasn't just a scammer. He was building a whole network of people to help him carry out his crimes. He turned his online persona into a full-blown criminal enterprise.
Yeah.
But it all came crashing down eventually, right?
Oh, yeah. In 2020, Hushpuppi was arrested in a dramatic raid in Dubai. Authorities seized over $40 million in cash, luxury cars, and a ton of evidence linking him to these BEC schemes. He was extradited to the U.S., where he faced multiple charges and ultimately pleaded guilty to money laundering. He was sentenced to 11 years in federal prison.
So the moral of the story is don't believe everything you see on Instagram, especially when it comes to these overnight billionaires.
Right.
But his case also raises some serious questions about the current crop of young Nigerian billionaires. Are they just flaunting their wealth, or are some of them hiding something more sinister? That's something we'll dig into in the next part of our deep dive.
Yeah, it's easy to start drawing parallels between Hushpuppi and some of these other young billionaires we're seeing today, but we have to be careful of jumping to conclusions, right?
Oh, absolutely. We can't just assume that every young Nigerian billionaire who's showing off their wealth on Instagram is running some kind of elaborate scam.
Right. It's not about saying that wealth or success is a bad thing.
It's more about, recognizing the warning signs and asking the right questions.
Right. And you also have to remember that law enforcement agencies are getting a lot better at tracking down dirty money. They're using all kinds of new technology and data analysis to uncover these really complex financial crimes.
So even if someone manages to stay under the radar for a while, eventually the truth is going to come out.
Yeah, that's the thing about money that's been made illegally.
Right.
It might look glamorous on the surface, but it's built on lies. It's built on deception.
Right.
It's inherently unstable. And as we saw with Hushpuppi, the higher you climb on that foundation, the harder you fall.
Yeah. And the consequences aren't just limited to the person who gets caught either, right? There's collateral damage too.
You're absolutely right. Think about the victims of these scams, the individuals who might lose their entire life savings, the businesses that could be forced to close their doors. It can be devastating.
Yeah, it's like a ripple effect.
Oh,
One person's greed can end up hurting so many others.
exactly. And then there's the damage to Nigeria's reputation as a whole. When these huge financial crime cases make international news, it just reinforces these negative stereotypes, and it undermines trust in legitimate businesses.
So it's not just about individual accountability. It's about the broader impact on society. It makes you wonder, is there a way to change the narrative? Can we redefine what success really means?
That's the big question, isn't it? How do we move away from this obsession with getting rich quick and instant gratification? How do we create a culture that values hard work and innovation and ethical business practices?
It seems like a pretty daunting task,
Yeah.
especially in a world that's so fixated on social media and, online validation.
It's definitely a challenge, I won't lie, but I don't think it's impossible. I think it starts with education. We need to be teaching young people about financial literacy, about ethical business practices, about the importance of building sustainable businesses that actually create real value.
So it's about giving them the tools to make smart decisions about their own financial futures. Instead of just chasing after these get-rich-quick schemes.
Yeah, exactly. And we need to be promoting entrepreneurship that's grounded in innovation and a genuine desire to solve problems, not just exploiting loopholes or following trends. Nigeria has so much potential, so much talent. We need to be nurturing that talent in a way that benefits everyone.
Instead of just glorifying these flashy lifestyles, we need to be celebrating the people who are out there building businesses, creating jobs, making a real difference in their communities.
100%. It's about shifting the focus from "look at me, I'm rich" to "look what we've achieved together."
Yeah, it's about recognizing that true wealth isn't just about money. It's about building a life that has meaning and purpose.
And it's about understanding that there are no shortcuts to real success. It takes time and dedication and a commitment to doing things the right way.
It's about setting a good example for the next generation, showing them that real success is about integrity and hard work and a genuine desire to make a positive impact on the world.
Exactly. We need to move away from this culture of instant gratification and cultivate a mindset that values long-term growth and sustainable prosperity. That's the kind of success that lasts. That's the kind of success that builds a better future for everyone.
That's a great point. But how do we actually make this happen? How do we promote ethical wealth creation in a world that seems so obsessed with instant gratification? We'll explore that question in more depth right after the break.
Yeah, it really does feel like we're at a crossroads. We can keep glorifying this unchecked wealth and fueling this whole fake it till you make it culture, or we can try to do something different.
Yeah.
But how do we actually make that happen? How do we encourage people to strive for genuine success instead of just chasing clout?
Well, I think it comes down to a few key things. First, we need to redefine what we consider to be success. Instead of always focusing on how much money someone, it's more about shifting the focus to how that money is made and what it's being used for.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that wealth can actually be a powerful tool for good when it's acquired ethically and used responsibly. Look at all the entrepreneurs out there who are investing in renewable energy or creating jobs in underserved communities or supporting education initiatives. Those are the people we should be holding up as examples.
Yeah, I love that. It's about moving away from individual extravagance and focusing on collective progress.
Yeah.
But how do we get young people to buy into this new definition of success? Seems like social media is constantly bombarding them with images of luxury and, instant gratification.
It's a tough challenge for sure, but I think education is key. We need to give young people the critical thinking skills they need to see through all the smoke and mirrors on social media, to understand that real wealth is about building something that lasts, not just accumulating a bunch of stuff.
So it's about teaching them to be more than just passive consumers of information,
Exactly. They need to be able to think for themselves, to question what they see and hear.
right? To be able to spot the BS.
Exactly. And we need to show them real-world examples of people who are achieving success the right way. Entrepreneurs who are building ethical businesses, creating jobs, making a real difference in their communities.
We need to show them that there's more to life than just chasing likes and followers.
Yeah, that true fulfillment comes from building something meaningful and contributing to something bigger than yourself.
That's a really powerful message. So what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this conversation today?
Think critically. Question everything. Don't be fooled by appearances or empty promises of getting rich quick. Real success takes time and dedication and integrity. It's about creating value, not just chasing clout.
I think that's great advice. Remember, folks, real wealth whispers, it doesn't shout. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and keep questioning everything you see, especially on social media. That's all for today. Thanks for listening.